All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Saturday edition of Awesemo.com NHL Hit the Ice. Should turn my volume down. Always forget to do that. But anyways, we have, 9 games to talk about. We can go through game by game. We can do some fantasy cruncher stuff. We can just kind of go through and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Because I don't think I'm going to be multi-entering today. Or I shouldn't say that. I think I'm going to do 20 max today. And yeah, Florida 2. Huey, I'm with you there. So, I don't know. It's not going to be too difficult to build my teams, I don't think. Building probably around 4 or 5 pretty obvious top-line stacks. And then, yeah, just letting, some of these other, like Florida 2 and Columbus 2, just kind of fill in outside of that. Yeah, I think I'm playing the DK $40. They don't really give you much of a choice. So here, let's go to the lobby today. All right, we are already on it. So this is going to fill really early. Like, it's already half filled, right? I mean, that's got to fill. Yeah, the only problem with that is that, well, first of all, I'm not multi-entering. So like, this tournament's fine. But when you're not multi-entering, or you're not max entering, I should say. I keep saying multi-entering. I am multi-entering, I'm not max entering. When you're not max entering, you're obviously putting yourself at a little bit of a disadvantage, but there's just some really, really good players in here. You see, like right there, Testosterone, he's going to double up my lineups. Very good player here. Obviously, Sissima. I'm sure Alex is in this. Yep. There it is. So that's, it's really tough competition and pretty top heavy as well. So that's, like I entered in 20 yesterday into, there was the 33 and then the, I did like everything below that. I did like the $8 and the $3 and I made money pretty much on every tournament and except I got beat pretty badly in the $33 just because the competition is so much better. So yeah, very good players, top heavy payout like we see in most tournaments. But yeah, that's probably what I'm going to end up playing. $40 is always lit. Is it? I don't know. Maybe it's just because I haven't hit anything in a while. Maybe I'm just being a little bit of a pessimist. So I'm sure I'd probably have different thoughts if I win that 10K tonight, right? Guys, keep Florida 2 under wraps, please. Boom, I think the secret's out. I don't know. There's not too many people watching this stream, so I don't think you're going to have to worry. Max entering the 33. There's no 33 tonight. Oh, on FanDuel? Is there a good 33 on FanDuel tonight? I played the showdown slate today on both sides because I saw Zucker was out. So I figured maybe some people would be, just forget to take him out or whatever. And I get the Wild games on, cable TV. And I don't know. I like watching the Wild. The usual one on FanDuel. That's the thing too, Bobby. Extra sharper players on Saturday night and no sites with content. Yeah, so you got like the Slewfoots and, Osmo, Testosterone. Those are the guys that are soaking up a lot of the entries. This is just coffee, boom. Just coffee. I don't know why I'm drinking coffee at almost 1 o'clock my time, but here we are. Buffalo won tonight against Washington. Yeah, I like that a lot. So that's actually one of the lines that I plan on building around tonight is Buffalo 1. Can you guys hear me all right? Because no one said anything just now, but I can't tell if I'm talking too loud or too quiet for you guys. Will they see Washington too? No, they're going to see the Backstrom line, I think, which is good. Backstrom line giving up like 16 high danger chances per 60. So they're not great defensively. I think it's a good matchup both ways. I don't think Buffalo 1 is anything special defensively either. Will Dallas 1 be overlooked? That's kind of what I was thinking. But like we said, there are sharper players tonight. Like there's a bigger majority of sharper players in that $40 especially. So, I don't know. I think Dallas will be up there a little bit. I think that's like the quote-unquote sharp play. It'll be somewhat ignored in like the $4 20 max, but in the $40, I think some guys will go heavier on Dallas 1 just because they're so cheap and it's a good power play matchup. Like they are $4,400 cheaper than Colorado 1. That's crazy. Backstrom line is awful defensively. Yeah, that's true. They are not good defensively. So I think it's going to be fun both ways. And Washington's just not – they're just not good defensively at all. I feel like I always stack against them, and it just never works. That's how I feel. I don't know. 2-2-2 night? Could be. Yeah. If you're correlating defensemen, so it would be 3-3-2. Yeah. We could build some 3-3-2s maybe later on Fantasy Cruncher or on the lineup builder. I'm just trying to see if there's any last minute news before we get into these games. It's just all tweets from the Wild game right now. Yeah, nothing. Kunin with back-to-back shots. There we go. All right, so let's get to this. As you see, there's not really anything interesting here. I'm sure everyone's playing the football slate today, the degenerate slate. I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to play this. What do we got? Any like mini-max? No, there's no mini-max, right? If there's a mini-max, I'd probably fire in $75 worth of stuff just to have something going. But yeah, probably not going to spend too much time on NFL here. Showdown, yeah. No thanks. I'll watch the games for sure, but probably won't be playing too much DFS. Montreal 1? Yeah, I think people are going to be on Montreal 1 for sure. I think that's smart. It's a 4.1 implied total is the last I saw, which is crazy for a team that you don't think of as being that great offensively. But yeah, Montreal 1, Montreal 2, they're both going to be popular. I don't even know which line you're talking about, whether it's the Domi line or the Danault line. I was blanking there for a second. But yeah, they're both going to be in play. Speaking of that, we'll go through each game. I'll just kind of tell you what I plan on doing so far, and maybe at the end I'll upload my projections and just run 20 lineups, and that's probably stuff that I'm going to do for tonight. So, yeah, let's do it. Ottawa and Montreal, we've got Mike McKenna going up against Carey Price. Montreal did not play last night, if I remember correctly. Gallagher good at home, could be. McKenna 7,500, Price 8,100. Let's see if I can find some goal totals here. It is, yeah, 4.1 for Montreal, 2.4 for Ottawa. It's just going to be a lot of Montreal here for a lot of people. They weren't coming up when I was running 20, when I ran like 100, which is what I usually do right in the morning. They were coming up a ton for me. A lot of other projection sources are going to like them. If you use mine, you want Montreal, you're going to want to bump them up by yourself, so you can just give each one like a thumbs up or something. Pichu was actually the guy that was coming up for me a ton, just because of his recent shot volume. So you got the Domi line, you've got the Danault line here, both certainly in play. I'm expecting Danault to see the most time against Tkachuk, White, and Stone, and that worries me a little bit for Ottawa 1. I didn't really end up there. I don't plan on that changing here, and it's just not a good even strength matchup for them. While the Danault line hasn't really done much offensively, they just dominate possession. They have all season. And if it's going to be even close to a hard match here, that's probably enough for me to get off of Ottawa 1, even at fair prices. So Ottawa is on a back-to-back. Yeah, that's why they're starting McKenna. So they played Detroit yesterday. Go me for remembering that. All right. The Domi, Duran, Shaw line, I think, is probably the preferred option here. They're similar in price. And while I think Gallagher might be my favorite skater in this game, it's hard not to like Domi, Duran, Shaw. They all get power play time. Domi and Duran on the top unit. Ottawa is awful defensively. We talk about it all the time. And then you can play them with either Shea Weber or Jeff Petrie. Riley, I guess, is in play for 2,900. He's been a little bit better, seeing more minutes, especially skating with Petrie at even strength. So I don't actually hate that. But, yeah, it's going to be probably Montreal chalk. Neither line is priced up to a point where it's going to be that difficult to fit them in. And I like Montreal. Great goal total and all that. Backup goalie. Like, they've got a lot of stuff working for them. But I'm probably going to end up lower than the field on them. Shabbat will be in for some one-off lineups for 6,300. I like taking some shots there. I always do. I think he grades out once again as my top defenseman. Usually when there's no Burns and Carlson on the slate, it's usually Shabbat that gets the most love from a points standpoint. Goalies, I don't really have anything here special. Probably not going to McKenna. If I go to Montreal 1 or 2, it's a good chance that Price is going to be my goalie because I plan on correlating goalies tonight. I think that's a pretty good way to go when I'm not loving like 2 or 3 goalies. Toronto, Florida, we have Frederik Andersen going up against Roberto Luongo. Super cheap Roberto Luongo. And he's super cheap because I'm assuming the goal total against him, it was 3.5, almost 3.6 this morning. Florida around 3. First of all, I kind of do like Luongo for 6,800. He's going to see a ton of shots. If somehow Florida can stay out of the penalty box, and the Leafs actually haven't been that great at drawing penalties this season, which Steve has pointed out on a number of times on the show. If they can somehow stay out of the penalty box, I think he could see a lot of low danger opportunities. The Barkov line, at least my read, yeah. So Chris, I was just getting to that. He says Barkov going to match Matthews or Tavares. My read is they're going to go Barkov against Tavares. That's what a lot of teams have been doing when hosting the Leafs is Tavares Marner. That's what I would do. I think Tavares and Marner is the most dangerous line. You've got Hyman back there as well. And while Barkov's numbers aren't great, you prefer not to face Barkov if you are the Tavares line. That being said, I still do like Tavares and Marner. I think they're priced fairly on DraftKings. And then, I'll include Hyman for 4,500. I think that's a decent price for him. The other line I like here is, or the other line for Toronto I should say, is the Marleau Kadri Nylander line. Just great numbers, short sample, but you would think that line has some offensive ability, and they're going to get matchups against Florida depth, Florida second line. So yeah, sign me up for some Toronto 3 as well. And then probably my favorite line in this game as far as lines that I'll have the most exposure to. One of them will be this Florida second line. Kind of like what I wrote in my Spotlight Stacks article was that this line is just littered with offensive talent. Bjorkstrom, almost a point per game player so far this year in the AHL. Vetrano, we know he's got multi-goal upside, especially when he's playing with some real line mates and not Troy Brouwer. And then Dadonov, don't really need to talk about him. He's 6,600, but in the context of a full stack, that it's just such cheap exposure to not only power play time, but top power play time, Dadonov. And then you can stack this line with either Ekblad, Matheson, or Yandel. Their pricing has kind of converged together, so all 3 of these guys are within $600 as you see on the screen. For me, I think that just makes me like the cheapest one. Ekblad is 4,300. Top pairing, probably going to skate most of the time with Barkov, Huberdeau, and Hoffman line, but he is still 4,300 and will be on the power play with Bjorkstrom and Vetrano. And then you always like to target defensemen against Toronto, as Steve always points out. Ekblad's from Toronto too. There you go. Home team narrative. Hometown team for good old Aaron Ekblad. So Luongo is probably my preferred option in this game, but That's not to say I'm ignoring Frederik Andersen either, because anytime he's around 8K or under and he's a favorite, the Leafs just allow so many shot attempts, so many shots on goal that you see what he can do in these big games, in these high total games. People just ignore the goalies. At least at the lower stakes, they kind of ignore goalies with 6.5 totals, but it's hard not to like the goalies there, because if you think about it logically, if it's a 6.5 total or even like a 6 total, you're expecting a lot of shots, a lot of shot attempts, so something good is probably going to come from that game. And it's not always the skaters. If you've got talented goalies, they can put up huge scores in the high total games. You see it all the time. They end up 3-2, 2-1, and that's just potential for like double-digit points on DraftKings if the goalie is able to have a big performance and get the win. So Andersen 8K I think is perfectly fine. Luongo, Vasi on Thursday, exactly. Perfect example. I think he had like 11.6 or something. Just something absurd. He had like 48 saves. Outrageous. Oh my God, Bobby Boom's still talking 2016 strategy. What's 2016 strategy? Ekblad? Oh, home team narrative? Could be. Yeah, that's not strategy that I implement, but Boom likes the narrative, so we'll let him be. All right. Detroit and the New York Islanders. We have probably Jonathan Bernier going up against... Is it going to be Greiss? Is this confirmed? Let's see. What does DFO have? They've got nothing confirmed yet. Anyways, I don't think this game is all that fun. One of the lines that I'm considering here is the Islanders top line. Nelson Lee, Eberle, they're just cheap enough where I think they're going to be put in play. You can fit them with some of the top lines like Washington 1, and I think you can fit them technically with Colorado 1, but it's not pretty at all. You're gonna have to double punt and then punt goalie too. So they're probably more of like the Washington 1, where it's a little bit more doable. But I do just like this line. Eberle and Lee both grayed out as really, really solid values, and then Nelson capable. He gets power play time. Detroit commits a bunch of penalties. And then you've got some cheap defensemen that are also viable. I like Pulock the best. If you're a Nick Leddy guy, be my guest, but he would never be played if he didn't have the PP1 tag here. And I just don't think he's great for DFS. Probably a better real-life player than DFS play, even on the top power play. If Detroit was not on a back-to-back, I think this would be pretty high event. I mean, wouldn't it be high event? I don't know. You can make the argument both ways. Like, do they try to just slow it down on the back-to-back, or do they get run off the ice and the Islanders put up 40 shots on them? I don't know. I mean, the Islanders don't really generate much, but it is a good power play spot. So, just reading some funny messages from a different group. So I like Islanders 1. That's really all I have here. If I was making more lineups, I would probably get to Larkin, Nyquist, Advocator. Their numbers are insane, and not really worried about any of the matchups for the Islanders here. If they want to hard match the Filppula line with Josh Hosang, that would be a terrible idea, but if they somehow do that, it's a really solid matchup for Larkin, Nyquist. If they go with Barzal or the Nelson line, Larkin and Nyquist are going to be just fine. So back-to-back's the only issue I have here. Cholowski priced up to 4,700 kind of takes him off the table for me, especially in a back-to-back. The Islanders aren't actually that terrible defensively. We've been saying it for about a month now. They're not that bad. They're not the 2017-18 Islanders where it was just stack against them every single night. So different coach will obviously help that. Goalies here, I don't think Greiss is going to see the volume that you need for 7,800, so I'm not really worried about fading him. And then Bernier, I just hate playing Detroit goalies because of how often they commit penalties. So, just kind of a personal preference there for me. So I'm ready to move on from this game. It's really just one line that I'm targeting. Another one. Another barn burner. We've got the Kings and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jonathan Quick going against Matt Murray. We have 2.5 implied total for the Kings, 3.5, 3.6 for the Penguins. And probably going to see some Penguins semi-chalk. I, once again, prefer the Malkin line. I mean, Kopitar's numbers, again, aren't great, but the Malkin line's going to get the way better matchups, whether they go up against Kempe or the Jeff Carter line. Aston Reese is super cheap still, and I think this line has pretty solid numbers as well. Do you like LA1 at all? I don't. I'm 20 maxing again, so I just want to make that clear. They are very, very cheap, but I'd rather just not face Crosby if I'm narrowing stuff down. So I'll pass on LA1. Yep, change of coach can make a huge difference. Even just look at Edmonton with Hitch. Yeah, Edmonton's the worst now. They did put up quite a few goals yesterday, though. I mean, when you've got McDavid, you're always going to put up some goals, no matter how much you try to slow the pace down. Pitt gave up 50 shots last night? Is that right? 50. Okay, so I didn't watch any NHL games last night. Once lock hit, I didn't even check my phone until basically 10 Eastern, 11 Eastern. So I had no clue how things were going. I just kind of checked scores afterwards and then looked at the old winnings, which were not anything great. DeSmith had 48 saves. Is that right? Jeez. So it's a home back-to-back for Pittsburgh? Oh, you don't really see that too often. Okay. But yeah, it would be the Malkin line for me. DeSmith made 48 saves. Wow. 9.60K points. Good for him. I still don't really want to play Murray for 8,100. I don't know that the Kings are the team that's going to generate a bunch of shots. But yeah, it's just going to be the Malkin line for me here, I think. On the Pittsburgh side, if you are going to the Kings, you've got really, really cheap lines here. And the Carter, Lipsick, Luff line is one that I will have a little bit of exposure to. It's just Carter's price keeps dropping. And based on what he's doing, I think he's underpriced as far as high danger chances, scoring chances created. And same thing with Toffoli for 3,700. So Kempe, Shearback, I know they have very good numbers. I was listening to the Tic Tac Tout podcast, which is a very good podcast this morning. I like to listen to it on Saturdays. They do a really good job kind of breaking down games. It's entertaining. But anyways, we're not affiliated with them, but it's just good content. So wanted to mention that. But they were saying that LA3 does have very solid numbers in their short sample. So I'm a sucker for the numbers. So if a line does have solid numbers, even early on, I want to be on them first. And we do have Colorado 1 on this slate for just $23,000. So you can look to some of these cheaper lines and hope they get you 1 or 2 goals and you're just golden if that's the case. What else in this game? What else? So I mentioned kind of LA 2 and 3 as both punt options with the Colorado 1 or Washington 1 if you want to go there. Letang is crazy priced, 6,700. I don't really like that at all. He's not going to come up for me. It feels like every time he's priced up like this, he gets there, and I just hate it because my model just loves so many other guys ahead of Letang that are like 1,000 cheaper for the most part. You know, there's days where he'll pop every once in a while, but this is not going to be one of them. Probably won't have any exposure to Letang, so if it's the Pittsburgh power play that beats me here, which it certainly could be, I'm I'm probably only going to have exposure to Kessel and Malkin. And that's just, that's probably how I get beat tonight, because Pittsburgh always buries me. All right, let's move it on. I don't really want to talk about LA defensemen or the Kings in general anymore. Sabers and the Washington Capitals. We have Phoenix Copley going up against Carter Hutton, it looks like. Nothing confirmed here that I see on our screen. It may just not be updated. So yell at me if it's if something is confirmed here. But anyways, we have Ovechkin fresh off a hat trick, I believe, last night. Don't think I had any exposure there in my 20, but I will have some exposure to Washington 1 tonight. When you look at their price relative to Colorado 1, they are, let's see, they are $1,800 cheaper, and that really matters when you're getting up that high in price, because $1,800 to dish off between 3 skaters is a huge difference, or I guess 5 other skaters. It's just a huge difference when you're getting that high priced. Back-to-back hat tricks, that's kind of what I was envisioning this morning. I don't know if I had a dream or whatever, but this is, yeah, I think a really good spot for Backstrom, Ovechkin, and Oshie, which is not a hot take at all. I think you can go to the Kuznetsov, Vrana, Wilson line. The problem is Wilson's price is so expensive. You kind of have to ignore that price if you're going to the line, because Vrana and Kuznetsov, I think, are both a little bit underpriced. So as a whole, it makes it a little bit better. It would just be really tough to click on Tom Wilson for $6,700, not playing with not playing with Ovechkin, you know, and not playing on the top power play. So I get it if you don't want to go there, but I think it's going to be a pretty solid matchup for them against the Middlestat and Sabatka lines, which are neither of which are very good defensively. Wait, Ovi already has back-to-back games with hat tricks? When was the other one? Did they have like a 2 or 3 day layoff? That could have been. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Okay. That was earlier in the week. I had him that day. I had a bunch of exposure to him. Yeah. God, that guy's incredible. That's the kind of analysis you get here. This is a free show, so great analysis. Alex Ovechkin, very good. But I think the top 6 are in play for the Capitals here. And then I really like the Eichel line. Eichel, Skinner, Reinhart, as I mentioned off the top of the show. Someone asked about the Backstrom line. They're really bad defensively, at least they have been so far. You kind of expect that to be the case. Not bad defensively, but not scary. And it's going to be a hard match with Eichel, Skinner, Reinhart. The Capitals not only give up a ton of even strength, but they also commit a lot of penalties, which I wasn't really aware of. They've kind of creeped up there lately. At home, they give up they're tied for 10th most times shorthanded. But they've only played 15 games, 52 times shorthanded, 75% penalty kill. On the season, they rank 4th in time shorthanded, 76.3% penalty kill. Eichel, Reinhart, Skinner all get top power play time. Will they be very high owned? Buffalo 1 or Washington 1? I mean, I think Washington 1 could be pretty decently owned in that $40. I don't know. It's always tough to get a read because it's like ownership is, yeah, I don't know, maybe like 15, 20% in the $40. There's just so many sharp guys. Letang confirmed out? Where are we seeing that? Wait, what? Did I miss something last night? It's very possible I missed something. Letang injury. Oh, hyperextended. Ooh, ouch. Okay. Well, that kind of changes things for Pittsburgh if you can go 4-3-1 with the cheaper guy. He got hurt. Yeah, I just saw the video just popped up. I just searched it on Twitter. I wonder who would slot in on the top power. Maybe Mata. I mean, I would like Dumoulin on there. Dumoulin's really cheap for 3,300, and he's actually been shooting quite a bit. Anyways, different game. If anybody sees anything on Letang, let me know. It's possible it could have just been maybe just needed a night's rest, and now the knee's going to be okay. Or he could be out for extended time. I have no idea. As you saw, I just learned about this injury. So Buffalo 1, you probably want to pair. I'd probably go with Dahlin, $1,600 price difference, seeing a bunch more minutes. Top pairing, all that good stuff. So it's just a price thing with Dahlin. If you want to go Ristolainen, I don't think that's a bad idea either. They're both on the top power play. And then for the Capitals, it's just very clearly John Carlson. The only issue with doing that is if you go with Carlson, look at this, $4,400 remaining. That's why you would need something like this, So you can get two very good defensemen, and you can get a 5K defenseman and have basically your choosing of any goalie. So that's why I think LA2 and LA3 are in play. Not because I think they're great lines. Copley for 7,700, Hutton for 7,100. The only reason I'm going to Hutton is as a correlation play, cheap, and if he makes it work, and I can fit Buffalo 1 in with another mid-tier stack, but don't like the spot really at all outside of the $7,100 price tag, and probably should see a decent amount of shots. The problem is that power play is so good for the Caps. So we'll see what I do with Hutton, but right now just a correlation play for me, and very low percentage of my lineups. All right, next game, Ducks and the Columbus Blue Jackets. John Gibson going up against Sergei Bobrovsky. In this one, I wrote up the Columbus 2 line. I would like Columbus 3 if Bjorkstrand was in there instead of Sedlak, and maybe he will be. But right now, it's probably just going to be Columbus 2 from this game. They're going to get the better even strength matchup. Even though Columbus doesn't really hard match, you're seeing the Dubois line see the most time against opposing top lines, so that would put them up against Getzlaf, Aberg, and Kasha, who's a line I like, but they're just a little bit overpriced for me. I don't really like the matchup either way. Yeah, Atkinson, 7,500. That's a pretty decent price jump for him. Not that he hasn't earned it, but nothing really sticks out to me for Columbus 1 here, especially if they're going to see a bunch of time against the Getzlaf line, which I am anticipating. I would just much rather attack Kessler, Cagliano, Silverberg, Henrique, Ritchie, Sprong. I don't think either of those two lines are good defensively. And we know this Jenner, Anderson, Foligno line does have upside. They're all listed on the same power play as well. Who knows if that sticks? I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. But, for now, they are 12-6 on DraftKings. Is that right? 12-6. It's just too cheap for them, and a very, very good even strength matchup. Did I say Bjorkstrand before? Bjorkstrand's listed on the Columbus third line. I meant Duclair. So if this was Bjorkstrand, Duclair with Wenberg centering, I would be much, much more interested. Hard not to play Kasha at 5,500. He's been on fire. Kasha is awesome. 5,500, I don't think it's a bad price for him at all. I'm not really getting to this tier of lines, and I don't really love the spot if they see a bunch of time against Dubois, Panarin, Atkinson. They've been doing a good job this season of limiting high danger chances against, which, as you guys know, I care about quite a bit. Seth Jones at 6,400. He's he's perfectly fine, 6,400, especially if you are going to Columbus 1. Like I said, though, I'm probably going to 2, so not really interested in any of these guys down here. If I was going to 1, it would probably be Werenski for 4,100 just because of this. But third pairing for Werenski is a little bit tough to get behind. And then if I'm going to someone on the Ducks, Lindholm's just been kind of a beast, as has Montour, just racking up minutes. So if I end up on either of those two guys as one-offs, I think that's perfectly fine. Not going to like take them out of my lineup just because they play so many minutes. All right, let's move it on. I don't really have anything for goalies besides mentioning that Gibson is in play. Anytime he's 7,400, really anytime. Especially now that the Ducks have gotten a little bit more healthy. They've got a line that actually is good. All right, Devils and the Predators. We have Keith Kincaid against UC Saros. Let's look at the goal totals here. What happened? Oh, I'm on the wrong day here. We have a 2.6 implied total for the Devils, 3.4 for the Predators. Could be 2.5 and 3.5, depending on where you're looking. Taylor Hall, who knows if he's going to be back? He missed yesterday. I wouldn't expect them to fire him up today, but who knows? Maybe you just needed an extra day. I obviously do not know. It doesn't really matter for me tonight because I'm not putting in 100 lineups, so I'm not getting to New Jersey anyway. I do like the Johansson, Hartman, Fiala line a little bit. That's the one I prefer. They are listed as the top line, but probably the top 6 is in play for Nashville. I would want to see Johansson, Hartman, Fiala against a Taylor Hall-less Devils top line. I think that would be a pretty advantageous matchup. And then you can play Roman Josi or Ryan Ellis, really with either line, or all 3 lines, if you want to go to the Bonino, Sissons, Watson line, but I'd rather not go there on a, what do we got, 9-game slate? Yeah, I'd rather pass on that. Josi and Ellis, 2 of my favorite plays again tonight. Big total for the Preds. Devils possibly without their best player. Just seems like another smash spot for Josi and Ellis here. And the double D stack firmly in play. So either of those two guys, if you got the extra 1,000, go to Josi. If you want to drop down, go to Ellis at 5,200. Saros at 8,200. I like as a more of a floor play. I think he's got a great chance to win, especially if no Taylor Hall, and the Vegas odds reflect that. So I'm not saying anything you guys don't already know. I got nothing on the Devils side here. A couple more games to go. We've got the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. Anton Khudobin, Semyon Varlamov, because Grubauer went last night. The Avs were pretty quiet last night, if I remember correctly. McKinnon had an assist. He had his usual 6 shots on goal. Let's see, did Landeskog get in on it? Nope, no points, but 8 shots? Is that right? Jeez. 6 shots for Rantanen. My God. What is actually wrong with Hall? Yeah, that no one really knows. He just left practice 2 days ago, I think on Thursday. Yeah, he just left practice, and then they took him out for precautionary reasons. He practiced yesterday but left early, and then they were like, oh, game time decision. He was out. Who knows? Hopefully nothing serious, because I love watching him, love playing him in DFS. He's just really awesome player. And hopefully for New Jersey's sake, he's not out for a long time, because they don't have a ton after him. Stars, Avs, we've got 2 very good top lines. It looks like Dallas 1's going to be back together. Dallas did us a favor, and they actually listed them together. So you don't really have to guess. You don't have to play Nichushkin, who's going to play 3 shifts with the top line. Nope, you don't have to do any of that tonight. Play Seguin, Benn, Radulov. They are discounted. And actually really, really discounted. So Colorado does a better job of limiting the time shorthanded at home, but they still do commit quite a few penalties, well above average at home. In total, they commit just a ton. I think they're number 3. Yeah, number 3 in time shorthanded, under 80% kill. And I'm guessing the Stars just ride this Dallas one line. It's 3 and 4 for Dallas, but it's one line team against one line team, and they're going to be out on the ice a lot together. I'm sure Colorado 1's going to get some shifts against Colorado 2 and 3, or Dallas 2 and 3, but I would guess the majority of their even strength ice time comes against Seguin, Benn, and Radulov. And this McKinnon line, they handled St. Louis 1 when they got hard matched yesterday. Colorado 1 is at home. Crazy expensive. 23,000, but you can afford them, which is crazy. You can afford them with Tyson Barrie if you want to play one of those LA depth lines. It just, yeah, I don't know. I'm really interested to see their ownership in the 40. Because, you could see it being just, there are other lines. There's Buffalo 1, there's Washington 1 that are just, clearly better values, but I think very clearly Colorado 1's going to come up in everyone's projections as the top raw point stack. So it's just a matter of what you can fit around them. And I can fit enough stuff where I'm going to be at or over the field on Colorado 1, even for 23,000. I do like Dallas 1 on the other side. Colorado 1 has been better defensively, but they're still going to be, it's going to be back and forth. At least that's how I would expect it to be. 2 high-powered offenses. When there's penalties, I hope there's a bunch of penalties. I hope we get our buddy Furman. I hope he has a nice throwback game. That would be favorable here, because Dallas 1 is just too cheap. They shouldn't almost ever be this cheap. They're 18-6 to stack. That's and they're together, So if Colorado goes back to their slap-happy ways and they're committing penalties here, you could see a huge Dallas 1 game, and I'm not missing out on that. I really want exposure to Dallas 1. Fedun is listed on the top power play. I want to check to see if he actually played there last game, though. Because, it's Dallas. They just keep doing weird stuff. Revolving door, as we always say. Let's see. Oh, they didn't play on the power play last time. Good to know. Yeah, so Dallas didn't have a power play on the in the San Jose game. So I guess we just gotta assume it's Fedun. If anybody saw him practice there, then let me know. But yeah, I guess we haven't seen him for 2 games. Yeah. Dallas did not draw PP the other night, so I have no clue who's on each power play after the line switching before last game. Yeah. Dallas is super frustrating, but I'm going there. I think you can play Heiskanen or Fedun. Fedun is going to be pretty heavily owned, I think, by the Sharps tonight, like Osimo, like Testosterone, because $2,900 power play 1 defenseman. They like to use guys only on the power play, which is understandable. Ben not on PP1 on daily faceoff. I don't know if I buy that. I'm sure you're telling the truth because it's showing up here that we also have Ben on PP2, but they would be really stupid to have Ben on not the top power play. Let's see what he was 2 games ago. He was not on the top power play 2 games ago. Let's see. Yeah, he was with Spezza, Hansel, Heiskanen, and Lindell. Okay. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it was right. It was correct. So maybe that's what Daily Faceoff is going off of. Who knows, though? He's 6K. He's underpriced. So I wouldn't worry about PP2 with Jamie Benn here. So there you go. Play the top two lines. Dallas won, I think, a very good value and could get there on the power play. I know Dallas's power play has been bad for the season, but for the month of December, they've actually been very good in a pretty short sample. I think they're at like 35% in 14 or 15 opportunities. So got to start somewhere, right? Short sample, but that's all we've got to work with in December. Tyson Barrie, obviously the play if you're going to Colorado 1. If not, if you need to punt, I like Nemeth for 2,500. All right, Flyers and the Canucks. We have not Stolarz. He started last night, if my memory serves me. Is it going to be Alex Lyon? That's what I'm seeing at one source. It could be not Elliott, would it? Who knows who's going for Philadelphia? I'd rather not go there anyways. Markstrom for the Canucks. We've got a 6.5 total with 3.2 going to Philadelphia, 3.3 for Vancouver. Horvat probably going to hard match one of these lines. Which line it's going to be, I don't really know. You'd like to see that Raffle is not on the Couturier line, and they've got 6 good skaters in the top 6. Always nice when teams do that. I probably want the line that goes up most against the Pettersson, Levo, Besser line, but I'm assuming this is going to be a pretty popular game to go to. Late night hammer, all that good stuff. I haven't really figured out exactly what I want to do with this game. So, what do you guys think? Where do you guys think Horvat's going to match? I don't know. I don't want to just talk about what I think. Let's see. So Horvat, Virtanen, Goldobin, man, they've been bad. 77 shot attempts against per 60 with that trio. It's 30 minutes, so you know. The Flyers were completely mixed by the end of the game last night, were they? All right, let's see what they did. I'll pull this page up for you guys. So this was last night. Okay. Couturier. So Couturier stayed with Voracek. Okay, so it looks like they probably started with Raffle and then brought Simmons up on that line for the second and third periods. Looks like they were very good at even strength with this trio. The Giroux line, where are we at? Claude Giroux. Konechny started with Van Riemsdyk. Right, is that correct? That's how they started the game, Van Riemsdyk? Man, what did they do here? Okay, so 1 minute, that doesn't really do anything. They brought up Patrick, is that right? To play wing? Or did... Oh, Patrick probably centered Giroux and Konechny. Who knows? We only got 19 seconds with Simmons. So Simmons, yeah, okay. You can fit Vancouver line 2 and Montreal PP1 against 2 teams giving up goals for fun. Yes, I mean it's a good way to put it. You know, I mean don't try to be too cute. So those are 2 very good teams to target. Ottawa and Philadelphia. Terrible penalty kills. Like you said, they give up goals for fun. So, man, my eyes are really bothering me. Anyways, what else do we got in this game? I haven't really decided what I want to do with it. I want to have some exposure, but you know, there's 4 viable lines here. I would probably lean towards the Couturier, Voracek, Simmons line. That looks like a pretty solid one, and then that one would go up against Horvat, Virtanen, and Goldobin, and that line has very terrible numbers. So I thought that Horvat line had much, much better numbers, but now that you kind of look into it, Philly had a decent game last night, just had 3 defensive zone giveaways that led to easy goals. That'll do it. Edmonton will make you pay when you've got Connor McDavid. So, oh, I like Edler a lot for 4,900. I should mention that. Does shoot it quite a bit. I think there's going to be a lot of shots back and forth here, and he's going to see a bunch of ice time. Same thing with Tanev. I know he doesn't play on power play, but I like him to see a bunch of minutes here as well, with both of the top 2 lines. So on the Canucks, I think I want to go with Pettersson, Besser, and Levo. On the Flyers, I want this Simmons, Couturier, Voracek line. And you might have to manually do that in Fantasy Cruncher. I don't know if that's how they have it listed, so just be aware of that. But this is probably basically what I'm going to do tonight. I'll just kind of show you guys, more or less. We'll just run a crunch or 2. There we go. Shameless plug. Spotlight Stacks article. Here, you guys can have this. Read that. Those were the stacks I was on this morning. Still am on all of them. What am I looking for? Fantasy Cruncher. All right, you can use promo code Hit the Ice, which is on your screen, for a free week of Fantasy Cruncher. We also have the 24 days of giveaway. I said yesterday that it was going to be a different one today. That was a lie. It is not. So today, to get your entry into the random drawing, you are going to comment, let's see, favorite value line today. Favorite value line on DraftKings. I think most of us play DraftKings. Favorite value line. So you comment that after this video is done, and then you're going to like the video. That's how you get your entry into the random drawing, which is, again, your choosing of a free month of Osmo.com Premium if you win this drawing. And then you can gain additional entries by going to different shows, commenting, liking, and then we're giving away an all-access annual pass, $700 value. So that's the grand prize. So keep doing that. Build up your entries. It's random. We've got a bunch of winners that have been very happy emailing support. So hopefully you can be one of them. Favorite value line, once again. And then you have to like the video as well. Otherwise, your entry doesn't count. All right, so this is probably what I'm going to do for tonight. Probably going to even strength stack it like this. Boom. Clone that. I probably should have done this first. Let's see. Do I include line 1, line 2? Let's see. Line 3, we'll keep that in. We'll try 4 uniques, get a big spread. Only got 20 lineups. Don't want to spread too thin, but no, actually let's do no randomness for now. I'll upload my projections. You guys can see these. Oops, that's not it. What other good tournaments are there to play tonight for DFS NHL? Does anybody know? Because I don't really see any. Okay. So I'd probably limit what I do for this. I'll probably limit guys so about like 30%. I don't want too much of one line. I want to get myself a pretty good spread of lines here. Whoa, Kotkaniemi. That Montreal third line's coming up. First lineup. Wow, look at that. There we go. There's our Couturier line. There's the Danault, Tatar, and Gallagher line. Man, Montreal 3. What is going on? Whew. Here we've got the Brock Nelson, Jenner line. Tavares line is going to come down quite a bit, as will the Larkin line. So maybe what I would do is, instead of doing that, don't know that you need to go to third lines tonight if you're just making 20. But what I would like to do is maybe like make a group like this, and we'll go just include the lines you want to have at least one of. This is what I do sometimes. Maybe you want to go like Domi, maybe include Backstrom lines, Eichel. Great fight card tonight. Decent tournaments. What time is the UFC lock? Homercles will have an article out for that, I believe. We'll include the Malkin line. We'll include McKinnon, Sagan. So for this, basically what you're telling Fantasy Cruncher is every one of your lines, every one of your lineups that you create is going to have at least one of these lines, because you're already even strength stacking from the team line and power play stacks tab. So you're going to start every single lineup with at least one of these guys and their line mates. 3:30 Eastern? Oof. All right, so let's try this. There we go. And then I'm going to get off of here so you guys don't have to listen to me. There we go. That's nice. There's the Carter line. How about that? I like this a lot. Obviously, don't play Stolars, but you get the idea. Ooh, Gibson coming up for me. I will limit Gibson though, or I'm gonna limit goalie probably to around 20%. I don't want goalie to decide my night like it did last night. Scott Darling can't ever come through for me. There we go. We got a good spread of stuff here, I think. A couple McKinnon lines. Lineups. A couple McKinnon lineups. Couturier. There you go. 4 uniques will give it so that you don't repeat the same 2 lines twice. You can use 3 uniques, but you might get some repeating stuff. And I think any goalie besides Allen did well last night. I'm glad I wasn't watching. Let's just put it like that. That's gonna come down a little bit, but I like all these percentages for that $40. It's a 43 max, so yeah, the guys are gonna have an advantage. The top guys that max that out, and they're obviously just very good players. But maybe go a little bit heavier on like the McKinnon line and get some of that Backstrom line in there. But yeah, I like the way this is shaping up. This is gonna be pretty close to what my 20 lineups are. So I'll probably post the exposures in chat if I'm around. Got family coming in, so we shall see. But we'll definitely be playing tonight. And hit me up in Slack. Comment your favorite value line. Like this video for a chance at a free month of the sport of your choosing to Osmo.com Premium. Check out the UFC content. Check out On the Contrary. You still have a bunch of time before NFL lock. NFL lock's at 4:30. So if you are being a degenerate, go check out our content. Ownership projections for the main slate. I believe there's a live before lock show tonight for NBA. We've got the 2 shows tomorrow morning for NFL. We just got it all. So go check out our stuff. And hit me up in Slack if you got any questions. If you want to run anything by me, I'll be glad to answer. You get promo code Hit the Ice. You can get into that Slack for a free week, as far as premium stuff, you get my projections, Osmo's rankings, which should be updated in the next few minutes for tonight's NHL slate. So thanks, guys, for joining, and good luck. We will be back, myself and Nolan, on Monday.